What is going on, everybody? It's your man Chris Desir here, 100 Agency. Name of the channel, Astrology Universe, is going to be the new channel name. I'm going to be calling it from now on. I'm going to see if I can make a new channel around that and just make pure and other astrology videos on it. But all my astrology videos are going to be the basis for how I go about going in giving out my message from here on out. This is going to be one of the talks I have here today. This is going to be my astrotheological rant on society and how things I view it. Because I need everybody to understand we are about to be in Pluto, in Aquarius. This is going to be energy that is going to affect us for the next 20 years. These past 20 years that we have been living in, we have been seeing energy related to Capricornian related things. We have been seeing energy towards business, energy towards commercializing, control, generals, energy towards new businesses being born, new corporation, industry. This has been a time in history where regular people have had the ability to start their own business at a wide scale. The barrier of entry for new businesses, new business owners, new corporations, new conglomerates to be born is just phenomenal. And we've also seen the death of other businesses that have been around for staple 50, 60, 70, hundreds of years go to the ground to make way, because we must understand that Pluto works like a gateway. The water signs, when it comes to Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio, they are like the gateway into the spiritual world, the spiritual realm, the emotional realm. We have the physical realm, which is ruled by the fire signs. Or better yet, how we express ourselves inside the physical, which you could say is the earth signs. We have the air signs, which is how we communicate and socialize and how we think. And then we have the water signs, which talks about how we enter into this realm, the push and pull of our spirits into the body. When they talk about there is a separation between the earthly realm and your spiritual realm, that is true. But in all reality, using astrology, there are 4 different aspects. There is your personal expression. There is the physical realm that we live in here today. There is the mental realm, the communication realm, and there is the spiritual realm. We live in the axis of 4 different realms astrology can teach us, or mainstream astrology and well-practiced, well-documented astrology. In certain Eastern philosophies, they might have 5 or even 6. But it all really truly correlates and boils down into 4, because it is all a piece of one whole. When we think about the universe, or when you think about yourself in your everyday life, anything regarding you is going to be Mars, your ascendant. That points to yourself, the self, and how the self goes about understanding this world and everything around you. When it comes to Pluto being a water sign, water undoes fire. General rule of thumb, water tends to undo fire. Before Aries comes Pisces, a water sign. Water tends to undo fire. The sign that comes previous undoes the one that comes after it. That is a general rule of thumb. Fire burns up anything it touches. Anything you may have had of value, fire scorches it all. Scorches it all. When it comes to earth, anything you could have had of value. Or when it comes to air signs, when you're talking about knowledge, communication, and being able to form relationships with one another, material values will pull you away. What you value, what you have, is something that it will always be in contention. Dust, debris, these are all things that clog the lungs. These are all things that will take you away from your experience of connecting with others. It's things that have already been here before, taking up space. Because air is ever expanding out, but it is confined by the space that it is in. When you talk about air to water, water flows, liquids flow. But you got to understand that over time, if you were to leave water in a bottle and you left it out there for a year, over time, even the flow of water, it will turn into air. Air naturally comes and disperses the water. Breath, oxygen. You need to breathe. You must be able to hydrate your lungs. We are taking up the water and turning it into air as it goes back through the process. Fire is taken out by water, forms steam. I've just come full circle again to let you know it always runs by that pattern. Always runs by that pattern. Now we can get more scientific into it if you want to talk about the periodic table and breaking down of those four elements. Oxygen, O2. Fire is made out of hydrogen, carbon monoxide, CO, CO2. I think that is the main source for fire. Water, you already know, is H2O, hydrogen and oxygen. And earth, depending on what, it could be zinc, it could be salt, it could be sodium, it could be gold, it could be all of these minerals. But with this Pluto entering Aquarius, why am I talking about the scientific aspect? We are heading into a scientific age now. We are going to be seeing the birth of new people who are focused on humanity, because Aquarius points to humanity. Gemini points to your ability to speak. Libra points to your ability to relate to somebody else, relate to your friends, socialize, and things of that nature on a partnership level. Aquarius points to a group of friends. It points to relating to your humanity as a whole. You see on the three different levels and the three different stages how it goes from yourself to how you relate with your family members and your significant other, to relating to a group of acquaintances, co-workers, and humanity as a whole. And the water signs being the hardest to read, the moon points to your emotionality, your emotions, that connection you feel, the reason why you cry, the reason why you feel pain, or when you feel pain, the effect it has on you. To just bring water out your body, the push and pull that comes with it. Scorpio, what does Scorpio point to? Life. Scorpio points to life in its truest sense. Scorpio is life. Scorpio points to the doorway. The doorway, because remember, the sign becomes before it is the one that precedes it and can undo it at times. Scorpio represents the doorway for a spirit, Pisces, to come in and come out. Scorpio runs that doorway of life for spirits to come in and spirits to leave. When people think of questions of why is the world the way that it is? Why do people have to die? Why do bad things happen all over the place? When you're a child and you're coming into this world, you have to grip with losing family members, which is also Scorpio. You have to grip with seeing darker aspects of life, people fighting in survival mode. Because some people like to equate Mars with Scorpio. In ancient astrology, you can do that. But in modern astrology, there is a difference. Mars points to anger. It points to war, aggression. Scorpio is the birth aspect of it, and it is the murder aspect. Death comes from, or can come from, violence. Aggressive violence will always lead to death, but death is not always caused by violence. People can die of natural causes, old age, illness, disease, stress. Things like these of these nature can cause somebody to die. It doesn't always have to necessarily be war and aggression. It doesn't have to always necessarily be war and aggression that leads to somebody's death. That is the difference by why Pluto rules Scorpio. Pluto points to how when the breath of life that comes before it, Pluto points to how the breath, which is Gemini, comes into a newborn. Your spirit is transferred through, communicated through the air that you breathe around you and enters into your being when you are born. The second you come out the womb, your physical body is there, but you're not necessarily alive yet. When you really come into life, it is going to be when that breath takes over hold of your mortal form. As soon as your body, which is pre-made, coming out of your mother, it comes out like it needs a spark, like it's sending a signal. It's a open door. And your spirit comes into your body. And now the process of life starts, which is Aries. Another reason why Pluto ruling Scorpio and Aries ruled by Mars was considered dual ruled in ancient astrology. Because once you came into life, once the air came into your body and you were able to breathe, you are now able to start completely your life. Now your life has started. No matter how short or long it may be, your life has started after you've taken that first breath, not the second you've came out the womb or the second you are inseminated. Your life actually starts at that first breath. And the starting aspect of it is Mars, which is Aries. Why do I say this and what do I get to show you? Is that we are bringing life, Pluto, into humanity during this period of time. It turns to the birth of a new form of life. It turns to a new form of humanity. We are humans. Aquarius points to humanity as a whole, no matter what your race is, no matter what your ethnicity, no matter what your genetic codex is. If you are 5 fingers, 5 toes, or more importantly, if you have a belly button, innie or an outie, a scar on your abdomen, you are given indication to by Aquarius. And we're bringing forth a new form of intellectual being. Because besides humans, the closest relative that we have to humans is going to be a form of chimpanzee. I think it's called the Bobo simian or something of that nature. I was watching a documentary on it, and there are our closest relative genetically, because more intelligent apes is also giving indication to by Aquarius. You know what else is giving indication to by Aquarius? Technology, artificial intelligence. Technology is also giving indication. So when you think of Pluto being life, and an open doorway. What have scientists been doing for these past 20, if not 40 years? Putting in the movies, Pisces, putting in the movies, telling us their visions, telling us their dreams, their admirations, what they aspire to have. Did you know that Aquarius is the future as well? Did you know that Aquarius is your hopes? Pisces is your dreams. Is your dreams, whether you're dreaming or you're daydreaming. You're not really here, right? Aquarius. Aquarius is your hopes. This is what I'm hoping is going to happen. Not I dreamed this is happening. Aquarius points to the work that you put in. And after the work that you put in, it points to what you hope will happen after the work has already been put in. And with Pluto entering Aquarius, scientists are hoping for life. Engineers are hoping for life. Astrologers are hoping for power, but also life. Birth of a new wave of astrologers, birth of a new wave of engineers, birth of a new way of humanity. I brought up the example of the more intelligent apes. They're teaching them through symbols how to speak English. They are training their behaviors to be more human-like. Same way that we train our phones, we work on our phones to get better at giving people what they want. The new iPhone comes out, the new Android comes out, it's going to be a new updated version with a better camera, better face tracking feature, better everything that you want. And at the same time as the phone gets better, it's getting smarter. That's why they call it a smartphone. For it to get better at giving you what you want it to do, it has to get better. Whether you're not a movie buff or not, we will see in these next 20 years advocacy for rights, for technology. We will be seeing advocacy for rights for technology. AI is going to get to the point where we may see it like a new child being born, starting its life. It may not can do what we can do as humans, but we have programmed it in a way to do what it's going to do. We are in the age of Aquarius. We're in the age of Aquarius. What does that mean and why do I say that? We are in the age of humanity. We are in the age of how us as a culture, us as a people, rule this world now. We are no longer bound by disease. We know how to make things to counteract it. We are no longer bound by storms and natural disasters. We know how to plan for it, and we know what to do in the event of it. And storms and natural disasters I'll get through later. We are no longer bound by natural things that we cannot control anymore. We can shift and transform the world whatever the way we want to now. We believe that we were bound by the universe before. The average person may claim that they're of a certain religion or belief system. They don't really follow it, or they don't really know it like that. They may have a grandparent who does. They may have a parent who does. The average person right here, right now, especially if you're living in a first world country. No, you don't. No, you don't. Just be honest. Be honest. No, you don't. We are the ones in control of what's happening right here, right now. We understand that it's a person behind your screen, it's a person at your job, it's your family member, it could be your pastor, it could be your boss, your friend, your best friend. It could be that person you dating, that person you've been with for 7 years, or a member of your tribe, a member of your set, your crew. It could be any of those things. It could even be your own self that causes your problems here today. We all know this and agree with that. Ain't nobody going to deny that, I believe. I believe that. So, with that being in mind, this is an excellent time because we have been living in this era where you got to understand an astrological age lasts about 2,160 years. The average person lives to be about 90 something years old. That's a long time. That's a really, really long time. Why does it matter when I bring up these numbers? We just so happen to be living in the age of Aquarius during a time where Aquarius is going to be the big thing. There's 11 other zodiac signs. We live in the dominant sign during a period of time in a portion of that where we're going to be living through where that energy is going to be maximized. We live in the best of times. We literally are living through the peak of the peak. The top of the top. Aquarius only comes around every 84 years. I happen to be born with Uranus in Aquarius. And I'm coming into a Pluto into Aquarius. Pluto only comes around every 248 years. So to be born with that energy for me, and to be going into a lifespan for the next 20 years, where we're going to be facing that energy, this is going to be the age for the scientists. I'm going to tell you right now, certain fads that you have right now about doing what is mainstream, what is commercial, being a hustler, business owner type mentality ain't going to be the prime anymore. It's not going to be the prime anymore. We went past that era where everybody's focused on the coolest fad, the coolest trend right now is to be a business owner. No, now the coolest fad and the coolest trend for the next 20 years is going to be this. You're going to be a scientist, being an intellectual, being an individual. The fad and the trend is going to be rebelling. The fad and the trend is either going to be, you're going to be rebellious, you're going to be unique to yourself. Everybody's going to want to be unique to themselves. Everybody's going to want to form a brotherhood, join a fraternity, join a sorority, join all of these different things that link us together as people. No matter your race or your creed, that's going to be the new fad that everybody's going to jump on. And the leaders of this wave are going to be people who are scientists in the STEM field. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics. In the STEM field. Engineers playing with physics. Scientists playing with biology. Science, technology. Apps. Who's been leading this era right now? The social media marketing giants? Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, all of them on the business aspect of it have been going crazy, right? Honestly, it hasn't even started yet. We're going to go into Web 3.0. What does that mean? Cryptocurrencies. cryptocurrencies, NFTs, diddy-diddy-dees. You're going to hear all these things that started earlier. This is going to be their time where they're going to rule. They're going to rule. They're going to rule. They're going to rule like the natural dollar. You're not going to see that anymore. We're going into an era where kids being born right here, right now. Not kids who are 7, 8 years old. Kids being born, well, right here, right now. But not really. Honestly, because I'm going to give you the proper dates. Kids being born really between March 23rd to June 11th. For this first period, you're going to see any kids born between those period of time. When they grow older, they're going to be fully, when they're the time they're in their 20s. When they're still young adults. They're going to be born into a world where monetary aspects is completely digitized. They won't know what it's like to own a dollar. A dollar, I can guarantee you, like the dollar bill will just be a collectible item. The dollar, an actual physical dollar, will be like a collectible item. A credit card may be a physical collectible item that you just have to let you know, you know, these were once things that we used, and if you have one in good working condition that have money still on it, you can make an investment off of it. Because we're coming out of the era where Google, Facebook, and Google, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. We're coming out of an era where that's not new anymore. These are just industry standards at this point. They're not new anymore. They're not new anymore. That was what they call web, or the online world, the 2.0 of it. 1.0 was the dial-up era. I wasn't even born in the dial-up era. I wasn't even born in the dial-up era. And I hope my audience here on YouTube are around my age. Some of them are older, some of them are going to be younger. I wasn't even born in the dial-up era. I don't even know what 1.0 looks like. I was born when 2.0 popped off. So I don't remember the start of it. I was born during the start, but I don't remember the start of it. What is that? What am I here to say that for? Web 3.0 is going to be all online currencies. All online currencies. All online. The average kid probably won't be able to drive a car anymore. It's all going to be electronic. We're going to enter a completely digital age, a birth of a completely electronic age. Birth of a completely electronic age. Where everything is automated for us. Everything is automated for us. And the only people who are going to be doing well are the people with a skill. The middle class, the middle man has been cut out. We don't need the middle man anymore because technology is the middle man. Technology is the middle man. Everything goes directly from them to us. It is going to be an age of humanity, and there's going to be two sides. Those who truly want to stick together as humans, as a human collective, and those who are just going to be wanting to stick to the side of straight internet connection alone. I do not know you outside of this chat room. I do not know you outside of my VR headset. My entire life knowing this person has been online. My entire life knowing somebody is online in general. If you think of the movie The Matrix, whether you watched it or not, you probably know the premise. An online world, a completely digital world where people are separated from one another. That's this. Now, is every single last thing going to happen exactly the way I say it in the next 20 years? It's going to move on further past that. But this is going to be a peak point. This is going to be a peak point that happens every 84 something, some odd years. This is going to be a peak point where we're going to see the world do another shift, a major shift, because during this particular Pluto and Aquarius, so many other things are happening too at the same time. We are having Neptune enter back into Aries. The last time Neptune was in Aries, that was the 1776 American Revolution. All this talk of World War III, I've been hearing, let me tell you the truth, before I became an astrologer, I've been hearing talks of World War III since I was in middle school. Like 2010, 2011. I was hearing my teacher talking about, oh, blah, 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 during Obama's period. We're potentially going to go into World War III. I've been hearing about this since 2011. And they taught me in school that, you know, World War I and World War II happened within like what, a 13-year window from one another. Like one was like 1919 and the other one was 1945 when it started. So I'm like, they were relatively close to each other, and then like we haven't had one since. So I kept thinking, you know, we've had other wars too, Vietnam, Iraq. We've had other wars too in between, but like a world war, I'm thinking that's not gonna happen. We went past that phase. That's not gonna happen again. As an astrologer here today, it's gonna be bigger than just a world war. This is going to be a revolutionary war era. We're going back even older than a world war. The French Revolution, American Revolution, Russian Revolution, Haitian Revolution. The energies that are lining up in the sky are the exact same energies that happened when those events took place. So forget it being a world war right now. It will be a world war. Do not get it twisted. But it's going to be fought a little bit differently. While a world war is going on, there will be massive revolutionary civil wars breaking out. There will be massive revolutionary civil war breaking out across the entire world. A bunch of civil revolutionary wars happening across the entire world. We're heading back into that era too. We grew up, and you have to understand, for the most part, we grew up in peacetime. For the most part, these last 20 years have been peacetime. Yes, we went to Iraq, so we did do fighting. There were wars, there were proxy wars, there were battles and wars going on under the scene in each and every part of the world. But you're never going to fully get rid of or stop war. It's a part of the process of life. But we're getting to the point where we're going to have all-out wars, where it's not just countries that are established sending military forces that are established to fight other military forces. No, now it's going to be all-out revolution. Aquarius. And remember Pluto. Pluto is life. I told you. And I'm talking about all of life. The goods, the bads, the uglies, the amazing. It just points to life in general. Survival. Each and every being has been put on this planet to survive. Your DNA code is structured for you to survive. It is structured for you to survive. No matter what happens, there's always a fail-safe. There's always a second step, third step, fourth step. If that fails, this fails. If that fails, this fails. If that fails, this fails. There's always a backup plan. Look at the stages of Pluto. People want to say we didn't really evolve. Yes, we did. Look at an embryo. Go for a sonogram. Go get a picture of a sonogram. Go get any sonogram pictures you had. That doesn't look like a human in there. That looks like a reptilian type thing in there. And as it evolves through the months, the 9 months, the average 9-month process, now it forms into a human. Do you know we have scales? You see that? Do you know we have actual scales? Our skin are scaly. We evolved. Do you want to make a claim that the universe, the God, All Father didn't create us? He did. It's both. He did create us, but we have evolved. If you go and read, for example, if you go and read any Bible, speaking of Bibles too, if you go read any Bible, this happens to be a Protestant Bible, the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church. Did you know during these same energies that are happening, that are about to happen, right here, right now, for the next 20 years, this is when there was a breakaway from the Catholic Church? You know, any Orthodox variation of a religion or a faith, Judaism, Catholicism, Islam, any breakaway point happens under some sub-variation of I'd say it this way. Aquarian energy. World War III or massive world war is going to break out because of Uranus entering Gemini. That means a revolution of ideas. What I think, how I think, is going to be different from the way you think, and I'm going to rebel against your groupthink. I'm going to rebel against your groupthink. It means to rebel against one's groupthink. With that also being said, astrologically, if you go back to the circle and wheel, you have Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Those are the 12 signs of the zodiac. You're going to be one of those 12 zodiac signs. We are even getting to a point today where the average person is understanding their sign. I've been seeing on Netflix these past couple months, they were releasing zodiac Netflix series and things of that nature. We're already getting to the point, because you gotta understand that when it comes to the mathematical aspect of astrology, we are playing with approximates. It is impossible for anyone on the face of this planet to know what's going to happen 100% of the time on anything. Pick your favorite person, your favorite artist, your favorite parent. Nobody has been correct 100% of the time. Nobody's had a hit album after hit album, and not a single song at all had a weak moment that even you would say you wouldn't have improved upon. You're not going to find anybody who could prove that 100%. Nobody. So when I keep that in mind, we are in the age of Aquarius. You will read certain books that will tell you we are in the age of Pisces still. Or people would argue we're still in Pisces, we're in Aquarius. We are in the age of Aquarius. Because again, technology like this, new things, the innovation, something being brand new, something from the future, something that is going out of its way to just be crazy like this. Not even crazy, just being just shocking, or just like sudden. It's so like things happen so fast. It's like all of a sudden overnight everybody's using technology. You can't tell me we're not in the age of Aquarius. But what makes the age of Aquarius? if you put Aquarius in the place of the first house, because there are 12 houses, there are 12 zodiac signs, so there are 12 houses. Using ancient astrology methods of equal and whole sign, whichever one you use. I use equal. I'm not the inventor of this, but I know to listen and follow instructions of those who came before me, who knew what to do, who went through the trials and error before me, and can trust them with full ability to say, they're trying to save you time. They're trying to make sure you don't run down the same hole they did, because they've already went through that trial and error to figure out that path doesn't work. Trust me, go down this way instead. You're gonna save yourself so much time and effort, and then you can go trial and error on this better thing that I didn't have time to do. Because you're not gonna live forever. When people break it down, I've always had a problem with understanding the separation between the spirit and the body, the water from the earth. I've always had a separation problem because I can't see it. You can't see your emotions, but you know they're real. You can see water, but even water has a physical form. So when it comes to me, speaking of things of that nature, I've always had a problem saying it's all different. You know, oh, this can't be this can't be that way. There's this and there's this and there's that. You got to understand there comes a certain point as well where you can be so far removed from the original person. It comes a point where you can't get it, you can't break it down any more simple. You can be so far removed from the original person who wrote the book and told the story that you can't break it down any further. People have already just developed cultures to just this is what you do, go with the flow, follow what your family says, follow what your parents say, and people get locked up, people get confused, scared, diminished. People just get plain like emotional and develop insecurity problems because they're trying to please every single last person in the world. They care about everybody else's opinion, including me. It took me 5 years, 5+ years to get to a point right here, right now, where I can say I finally developed a skill that I can use on the everyday basis that I truly love and enjoy, that brings me happiness, that can not only help other people come to understand themselves, but help me understand the world around me. But I had to go through 5 years of trial and error. And on top of that, how many extra years of psychological trauma from being bullied and being the weird one, the weirdo, the standout kid. That's all Uranus energy too. I have Uranus in Aquarius in its home sign. That's all weirdo energy too. Trying my Mercury placement in Gemini. That's all weirdo energy too. That doesn't mean you're gonna come out and you're gonna manifest as a weirdo per se. It can manifest as you following humanity, following the path or trend that humanity's setting out for you, doing what your fellow man does. It can manifest that way too, and that is the way for most people. Most people give too much of a fuck what others have to say and think about them. And I can understand the need to want to do what you want to do because you can see something that your family can't. But you must also understand through your path, there's going to come a point where there's going to be tension and you can't be afraid of the tension. There's going to come a point where there's going to be tension and you can't be afraid of the tension. You got to be able to stick to your guns and go live your life and go fail. Go fail. As long as you can pick yourself back up again, do it again. And you gotta understand there are some extremes you think you wanna go to and you're not supposed to in the first place. Astrology helped me realize that too. I'm thinking that I need this car, this lifestyle, these friends. You're trying to prove something to somebody else. You don't need to prove anything to anybody else. You don't need to prove anything to anybody else. But you gotta understand what it is and what it means to really be you. Once you understand what it means to be you and what you need to be happy, and you can go about chasing that life, then you're gonna know for a fact, who am I supposed to be around? Who can I hang around? Who can I afford to stay around? I'm not going to act like I'm some super person. I'm still young. I'm a man now. Don't get it twisted. I can still be, I'm still considered an age, legal age in any country at this point to buy alcohol, own a home, pay taxes, face the penalties of the prison system. So on a societal level, they consider me a man. But everybody else on a personal level, if I go talk to somebody, they're gonna be like, yo, you're young. You're young. You're young. They won't call me a baby anymore, unless you're your parents or your grandparents, because you're always gonna be their baby. But to me, they're always gonna be like, you're young. You're young. You're young for real. I'm young for real. Because we don't realize how much life we have ahead of us. There's this predominant like claim in society in life right now that you must for some reason be a millionaire at age 20. You gotta be a millionaire at age 20 and go to Aruba, fly 20,000 miles every single day. That's not for everybody. And you gotta understand, even if you do want to do that, you don't need $20 million to do that. There's so many vacation plans, so many different raceways and cars and travel plans and things that you can do. I am advocating for everybody to have an understanding, not want to do, but bare minimum understand everybody else's way of life. Because problems arise from not understanding somebody else's way of life, getting impulsive about it, and this leads to wars, this leads to physical problems, this leads to slanders and slurs, this leads to misunderstandings. It breeds from that. You don't understand somebody else's way of life that may be close to you, that you care about, and since you don't know, you're going to give a response out of fear. You give a response out of fear, Pisces. It leads to anger, Aries. It leads to you questioning if that person is still valuable to you or not, Taurus. It leads to you having verbal like lashing out, Gemini. It leads to emotional responses, Cancer. And then it makes you question if you love yourself or if your family loves you, Leo. And it goes around the chart. It goes around the chart. It goes around the chart. You got to be able to do you. You got to be able to do you 24/7. You got to understand as you get along and you get earlier in this life, or you get better at this life, for wording. It's okay to fail. It's okay to be less than perfect. It's okay. It's okay to be less than perfect. It's okay to realizing that you're not number one in the world. You know there only can be one number one, right? There only could be one number one. Like, you realize that, right? When you stop looking at yourself as a number, thinking I gotta be number one, I gotta be top in the world, thinking I gotta be in this bracket, and start realizing that everybody's a person, everybody is a part of the human race, and that nobody stands taller than you because they have a nicer car, because they have more experience with women, more experience with men, because they have uh, more talent in a particular area or field, because they are more considered of value in the religious space or industry, company, workplace, family structure, or they currently have more self-worth than you do because you're still developing it, because you're a child and you haven't experienced it yet, or because they just are more intelligent than you. When you stop judging yourself and other people and come to understand and just be willing to say to yourself, you know what, I don't know everything. You know what, I don't know everything. I don't know everything. I don't gotta be super confident 24/7, 365. I don't know everything. I don't know everything, and I can't make mistakes. I've made mistakes. I'm not perfect. And yes, I know people are riding on you, people are counting on you, you got people on your back. You're not perfect. Life still moves on. Life still moves on. It hurts when people have to leave this gateway, leave this variation of life and go on to the next. It hurts. It hurts. It does hurt. But what happens regardless? You move on. There's a part of you that already over time gets you to move on. You're not crying about it as hard as you was the same day that it hit you years later. You may still cry, but it's the pain. You can't say the pain is the exact same it was. It's not. It's not. It's not. Because you're able to move on from it. When it first happened, you were probably depressed and couldn't move. Even if you're still crying to this day, you will still move past it. You still move past it. I haven't made a video like this in a minute. Let me read a book. Let me read a verse from Proverbs. Astrology is, to become a scientist, an astrologer, things of that nature, you got to understand it's every other placement of signs. You can't be an Aquarian. You can't be a human being. You cannot be a scientist. You cannot be an intellectual. You cannot be unique or rebellious until you understand your own personal sign and understand where Aquarius sits for you, where Uranus sits for you, what aspects you have to it, and what energies and what challenges you're going to have to face. Because again, I told you, I believe in this world you can do anything and anything that you want. We are God in this era, humans. We are the focal point of this era, humans. Humans. We are the pinnacle between machine and ape. We are the pinnacle in the middle. But there will come a day and time where even we will become obsolete, and we will move on as we leave these physical vessels and return back into a different era in time. I'm getting to the spiritual aspect of it, because if you're an Aquarius or Aquarius on the rising, speaking towards humanity, we value second house religion. Aquarians value, spend money on, build their morals around their beliefs. They build morals on their beliefs. But they they have materialistic things based upon their religion. But when it comes to what they actually believe in, their 12th house is Capricorn. They believe in math. They believe in hard work. They believe in determination. When you believe in hard work, determination, putting in the time and effort, and you value and you hold your morality, your principles, and you have material things based upon religion, people's beliefs, people's ideas, people's dreams, stories, imaginative things. You fall in the middle. You fall in the middle. You fall right in the middle. If you balance both, you end up in the middle. You become an Aquarian, a rebel, a scientist, an innovator. The new fad, the new way of life is going to be innovation. The new way of life is going to be innovation. Innovation.